oh, you guys are going to take this the wrong way, but most of you aren't going to make it. I'd say 80% of you guys aren't going to do it. Aren't. 20% of you will, but it's not a bad thing. It's not a bad thing. I don't fault you for it. You just have to go into anything you do assuming that 80% of the people are going to fuck it up and there's nothing you can do to help them. But in this case, that 80% of the guys are still, you know, like loyal fans, loyal readers. They're trying, and I'm not faulting them for that. But those 80% of failures kind of subsidize the 20% that are going to make it. And this is one of those things I do like about the men swapping notes side of the red pill. It's that even in failure, you can be useful. The follow-up with my with Ryan's rule on boundaries is those weapons only have any teeth if you have sexual market value, like SMV. What do you mean by SMV? Well, it's the self-improvement stuff. That's why when you read a book on frame, the first third of the book is about working out, showering, shaving the hair around your nuts, putting on cologne, dressing like a normal person, doing your hair, giving yourself like the Bradley Cooper hangover haircut, getting rid of your mullet, you know? Or mane, however you want to refer to it. Because nobody's going to give a shit. If you start trying to enforce boundaries, but you're just like a fat, lazy fuck, nobody's going to care. Oh, what are you going to do? You're going to leave me? You're going to leave me and go into the dumpster by yourself? Like, get out of here. No. But if you're attractive, if you're in shape, if you're not wearing cargo shorts to the goddamn... Like, what's that goofball wearing? Let me see this thing again. Khaki shorts, white sneakers, a Kirkland signature shirt. Yeah, and then like a military haircut. It's like, dude... Have this guy dress like other girls want to fuck him. And I guarantee you, when he tells his wife, hey, sort that shit out, she'll probably be more inclined to sort that shit out. Because he's worth keeping. That's another thing, too. A lot of guys forget about this when it comes to in boundaries. They assume, I have intrinsic worth. And so when I stomp my feet, you will fucking listen to me, bitch. And she's like, no. What the fuck you gonna do? I'm a pregnant tiger mom. You have no power here, Jedi. They actually, funny enough, Zach, yeah, he's right. Don't use nair on your nuts, but they actually have a specific dick and nut nair. I don't know what's the difference about the formulation. You fill your boots. Let me know how it works. I'm not about to put chemicals on my nuts, but you do what you want. Yeah. So yeah, like Tully here. I'm having a real problem with boundaries. Kids school. Just sat through LGBT school meetings. Absurd. Do I pull my kid? Blow up her friendships? Kids, dude, how many friends do you still have from when you were kids? I don't have any. I think college, okay, high school, I have one friend that I still talk to, and it's not very frequently. College, one friend that I still talk to. Military, about 6 or 7. But yeah, friends, they'll lose friends. They're kids. They don't really give a shit. Most friends are like acquaintance friends. But it's like, what do you want? If it's just a matter of I don't want to sit here and have them tell me diversity is my strength and the gays need to rule the world or whatever, maybe if you're in a good school and it gives the kids good things, sometimes just sitting there and like rolling your eyes as they read the speech is good enough. Like, I don't care. Or sometimes pulling your kids out and homeschooling is doing a thing too. It's a choice you really have to make. Coming from Mr. Hawaiian shirt. I wear those shirts because I'm free, good sir. Obviously, you can see I can wear normal clothes too if I want to, but I like it. Oh, yeah, and that's why this stuff comes in handy. Because, yeah, if you're not... And it's more than just being attractive. Like, attractive is a big part of it. A big part of it. If you look attractive, girls are interested in you. If you act attractive, girls are interested in you. If girls are interested in you, girls that you're with tend to be a little jealous. And women handle jealousy different than men do. Actually, I should change the title. Something more acrimonious like SMV and jealousy. Jealousy is always one of them good buzzwords that gets people going. Jealous, when guys are jealous, we tend to get violent. We tend to get despondent. When women get jealous, they treat it like a challenge. To them, it's like the equivalent of a guy saying, hey, you want to box a couple rounds? Girls like, hey, you want to have me fight over your man for a bit? Or like, oh, let's do it. Grab the White Claw, girl. Let's go to war. So it's called pre-selection. So yeah, if you're at that, like, I guarantee you, if you're at this barbecue, was that AstroTurf, by the way? I think that's fake grass on his thing. If you're at that barbecue and you're there with like 10 couples and 5 of those wives are like, dude, your husband's looking good right now. I guarantee you she's not going to sit there and call him an idiot in front of everybody. Because all she's doing is like, hey, just so you know, I probably don't fuck him either after this. You guys fill your boots. No. So yeah, you really do have to build your SMV, and that's why I always laugh. And guys are like, every time I tell people I'm depressed, they tell me to work out. This is ridiculous. It's like, yeah, you got to work out for multiple reasons. Put aside the attractiveness part of it. If you're a guy and you want to get your life in order and whatever, and you can't be bothered to work out ever, it's like, what are the chances you're going to do anything else that's even the slightest bit uncomfortable to improve your lot in life? Probably nothing. If you're not willing to like get nice shoes, if you're not willing to dress like you give a shit, if you're not willing to cut your hair like you care, if you're not willing to stop wearing cargo shorts and wear like proper pants, then how am I supposed to believe that you're going to be willing to do anything else of worth, right? There's a part of, and it's like, it's a lesson, Sea Training Pacific, Sea Train Pack. When I was in the military, they're like the equivalent of like, they're like the ones holding you accountable. They're the ones that ensure fleet holds up to their standards. Whenever you saw the red hats, you're like, oh shit, we're having a fire X. But we have this thing called workups. Workups is like, you go out to sea and they train like practice if there's a fire on board, if there's an attack on the ship, if there's a man overboard. How do you handle like a flood or all this stuff? And they run you through all the different types of scenarios a ship could be in to make sure you're good for it. And one of the ones, since I was a bridge watchkeeper, naval communications, was communications, flag hoist, and semaphore. Semaphore is because if you're replenishing at sea, and it's like, I get it, there's a lot of background to this. Semaphore is like where you do the flags, you do your positions, right? You know, blah, blah, blah. That's important because when you're replenishing at sea, you're getting fuel from a tanker ship. You don't want to use radio communications because there's an EM signal there. And no matter how small the risk, there's always a risk that something like a piece of equipment's malfunctioning or whatever, the spark could start up a fire, things cause problems. So why take the chance at all? Plus, you're close enough together that you can do this very old school means of communication. Flag hoist is another one. Anybody within 17 nautical miles of you, like to the horizon, will be able to see your flags, and they'll know. You could say everything. We're in distress. We're on a patrol. We're part of the 7th Flotilla. This is my name, call name of my ship, anything. You can actually communicate with people just by hoisting flags up at that distance. Keeps your radio signals down so none of the Chinese can't send their balloons after you, whatever. Like, half the mids watches I do are a field report from a guy who fucked up royally. A huge fuck up, something major in his life. But people don't make the mistakes after that. It's at the point where they recognize, like, Alpha is Wolf. That's a username. Anybody who was in the Married Red Pill will remember him. They know exactly what it means. They know exactly what the situation is. If you don't know that story, I think I got a mids watch on it. But it's at the point where you're like, don't just go off like an alpha is wolf, like an alpha wolf, and then people will know what that means. They'll know how to not to make those mistakes. Same thing with like Anthony Johnson. If you guys are running a convention and I tell you don't be an ADJ, man, you know how not to ruin your thing. If I joke around about 1,500 notches, you'll know how not to take that stuff too seriously either. So yeah, all these failed guys are actually pretty useful, and that's how the notes thing starts. There's a lot of failures on there, and some guys pick themselves up and some guys don't. But just don't be, and like I know saying this from the guy who's too hard on these guys, don't be too hard on them because they fell so that you can walk.
79T,
you know?
2458,
yeah. So here, F's in the chat for those guys fucking up their lives for you.